sin again. But I lied, I got cornered up and I sin again. The eyes of the angels upon many men. That is for your mercy, but I don't deserve your mercy again. No, keep it kosher, we living how it's supposed to. Every Sabbath on the block where we be posted. It's a required son, but you won't show it, no. This the generation of faith and we just know it, believing on things that we never seen. The return of Christ gonna be something out of a movie scene. Say that servants that put all their trust in me. Reading out of the book of Psalms, chapter 23. Going through this dark world, get trifling. I lost my niggas, them boys got put up on the team. That's the wages of your sins, pray you have mercy. Call her lawyer, how I don't forsake. Growing like I see the tree in Lebanon. The love of God be my shit, that's my testimony. If things don't go my way, I pray for name regardless. You want my majesty, your name I will not tarnish. You change goes down, keep it on there like a garment. The way that Bible highlighted look like it's garnish. Holding on strong to this face like a harness. Not letting go, don't wanna go back to that darkness.
Cyrac 3727. I get the message. Sin is sin, but there's an evil. It's not transgression. I search the scriptures for the answers. Cause I got questions. But every time I get the answer, I get distressed. Cause now I know better now. Got no excuse. Feel like I'm walking on some thin glass with no shoes. You try to use grace as a sin pass. You a fool. God could have really never let me live past 22. I'm still alive cause his mercy. Chastised with his intention, ain't that hurt me. Going through these trials to see if I'm worthy. Someone 39, 23, oh yeah, I will search me, oh yeah, I will search me. Why do I keep on falling? Why do you keep on calling? Feel like I'm going insane, making the same mistakes. Feel like a baby still crawling. But scriptures say different. Gird up your loins and be a man, so you know I'ma listen. Romans 12:1, I have to change the way I'm thinking. Follow what is written, don't wanna be in perdition.
For our works are not in vain.
You've never seen Rocky.
We're doing this for you. Trying to make you proud. We've been through hell and back, I know, but now our souls is on the line. Christ gon' get us back in blood, but first we gotta push the line. Ain't no humble shit, my sisters and my brothers sick and tired. We gon' send up supplications, we just trying to make you proud. I just open up the word and then get busy on the crowd. Say they wanna know the truth and I'ma break that shit down. I'm looking to my left and to my right is real niggas around. Can't afford to spare no feelings, I just gotta bring it out. Life it flashed before my eyes and somehow you protected me. Gotta be it for a purpose, I just think it's meant to be. And they told me it's on sight, I guess we finally get to see. Shout out to my nigga Bosh and shout out to my nigga T. Shout out to the fact that we ain't never caught up in the jam. I was chosen by the Lord, so yeah, I think that I'm the man. Fringes touching on my pants, scriptures got them in my hand. This world gon' be destroyed, I'm just thankful for the chance. All the men around me keep the law, we move the same. All this building that we doing's in, yeah, how it shines name. All the men around me keep the law, we move the same. All this building that we doing's in, yeah, how it shines name. We been through.
Listen to me. I've been where you at. Just gotta keep fighting, you hear me?
Got to.
Of course. Cause this shit ain't your fault.
Look, Esau on the winning streak, descending in Dorisha's peak. birds of a feather flock together, niggas beat the beat. I can hang with him if he weak or if he elite. Micah 7:5, third sentence, keep your tongue discreet. I know those who run the streets, but keeping the commandments, all they need to feel is up to me. And every time I fall, I feel like saying F it all, but I hear until you see the Son of Man in his glory. Like the third floor, I'm trying to be part of the story. Before the third word's war, I'm trying to see who for me. I really think about all the generations before me. Like, baby, is he for me? I really need to know. I ain't doing this for show. I'm really about this walk for show. And every time they ask how I keep going, I just tell them straight up, don't give up until you die, nigga.
A lot of us have assignments, we have purposes. God has set this race in front of us. A lot of us got certain things that we are supposed to meant to do. Remember, you have the endurance to run the race that is set before you. You got the angels, the great witnesses that are cheering.
Clash of the Titans, two Jakes, one scrap. There goes the lightning, enlightening kin and foes. Divine info, you're searching those, stay connected like Metro. UCI, reverse curses in ICUs. Psalm scriptures keep the soul like fixtures. Solid, float tight, the spirit is gas. He that laugh will weep at last. Scoffers really hurt my nerves, serve fire like dessert. Praying for the saints, John Baptiste in the desert. Carrying my cross is worth the hurt. Curses with hexes his birth. Cold hearts keep the law like V-Long. Stay on, heathens really peons. Endure till I'm beyond. Keep going, nigga.
Nighttime, sundown, hear that gun sound. Pop, 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 it ain't one sound. Ski mask, drop past, and do walk downs. DEA face, had to put the chalk down. Pop, 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 pop. Nighttime, sundown, hear that gun sound. Pop, 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 it ain't one sound. Ski mask, drop past, and do walk downs. DEA face, had to put the chalk down.
Tell me something like, what is we doing? Got enough problems like, what is we doing? And they told us as young as the only thing.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
They sold us a lie, gift wrapped it and call it Allah. Stones and nail crosses and other blah blah. God is looking to Pharaoh to set our race free. Their coded codes in Deuteronomy is the whole key. They sold us a lie, gift wrapped it and call it Allah. Stones and nail crosses and other blah blah. God is looking to Pharaoh to set our race free. Their coded codes in Deuteronomy is the whole key. Gotta stand, black man. Exchange blows like the neighborhood karate, man. This is the last dance. Lamb float, I'm a pacifist. But for the kingdom, I'll definitely pass a fist like I pass a test. His ruach keep you at your best. If you have stepped, get taken out by the anointed ref. I was seduced by her purple dress, scarlet hair and pearls, like your Sunday's best. Seductive lips with her ace of spades had me lost in her hands for 2 decades. While you lied to me, led me to the path where my God will body me. They sold us a lie, gift wrapped it and call it Allah. Stones and nail crosses and other blah blah. God is looking to Pharaoh to set our race free. Their coded codes in Deuteronomy is the whole key. They sold us a lie, gift wrapped it and call it Allah. Stones and nail crosses and other blah blah. God is looking to Pharaoh to set our race free. Their coded codes in Deuteronomy is the whole key.
I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. The angel said unto me, Wherefore
gun sound. Pop, 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 it ain't one sound. Ski mask, drop pies, and do walk downs. DEA face had to put the chalk down. Nighttime, sundown, hear that gun sound. But ain't one sound. Ski mask, drop bys, and do walk downs. DEA face had to put the chalk down.
You turn off the music, right? On SoundCloud? Huh? Oh, you should exit out just in case it doesn't play in the background by accident. Let's do a quick sound check to make sure everything's going well. Mic check. Mic check. All praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All praise and power go to Yahweh by Shema Shai, for surely his mercy endure forever. We'll begin the history class. All praise to the Most High by the blowing of the shofar as we enter into the prayers. You may stand and face the east. Go ahead. Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
By Hashem.
Yahweh Shai.
By Hashem.
Yahweh Shai.
All praise to the Most High. Repeat the Hebrew only. The blessing of the Shabbat. Blessed be Yahweh, name anointed Yahweh Shai, that give us the Shabbat in peace. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShek Yahweh Shai.
Hashem HaMashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'anafa Nawa.
Lawa Allah Tadanah.
HaShabbath.
HaShabbath.
Ba'Shalom.
Ba'Shalom.
Blessed be Yahweh, name anointed Yahweh Shai, that give us the law. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShek Yahweh Shai.
Hashem HaMashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'anafa Nawa.
Lawa Allah Tadanah.
HaShabbath.
HaShabbath.
Shalakia. Shalakia. Salakia. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShek Yahweh Shai.
Hashem HaMashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'anafa Nawa.
Lawa Allah Tadanah.
HaTorah.
HaTorah.
Blessed be Yahweh in the name of anointed Yahweh Shai, that give us the light to see. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShek Yahweh Shai.
Hashem HaMashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'anafa Nawa.
Lawa Allah Tadanah.
Ha'awar.
Ha'awar.
Laka'ah.
Lakra'ah.
Blessed be Yahweh in the name of anointed Yahweh Shai, that give us the ram's horn to call the people. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShek Yahweh Shai.
Hashem HaMashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'anafa Nawa.
Lawa Allah Tadanah.
Ha'awar.
Ha'awar.
Ha'ayo.
Ba'ayel.
Koran.
Koran.
Lakra'ah.
Lakra'ah.
Ha'aim.
Ba'aim.
Blessed be Yahweh, name anointed Yahweh Shai, that give us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShek Yahweh Shai.
Hashem HaMashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'anafa
Lawa
Nawa.
Allah Tadanah.
Hashaman.
Hashaman.
Zayaf.
Zayath.
Lamashak.
Lamashak.
Yasha'ala.
Yashala.
B'Hashem.
Ba'Hashem.
Amasiak.
Hamashiach.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Thawara.
Tawara.
Thamyad.
Damyad.
Aman.
Aman.
Psalms 121, the blessing of the Shabbat.
Psalms 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, even forevermore. Ba'ashem, Hamashak Yahushai, Tawaratam Yad, Aman.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Ba'ashem?
Yahushai.
Ba'ashem?
Yahushai.
Psalms 92, the blessing on the Shabbat.
Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings, upon the psaltery, upon a harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thine hands. O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when as all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eyes shall see my desire on mine enemies, and mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. To shew that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Ba'ashem, Hamashak Yahushai, Toratam Yad, Aman.
Aman. Hallelujah.
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 The Aron Palau and Lashon Korash repeat the Hebrew.
The Adawan Palau. Abana.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Korash.
Haya.
Haya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwathka.
Malakwathka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaika.
Haya.
Haya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Haya.
Haya.
Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Latadana.
Fanawa.
Lachom.
Lacham.
Kawam.
Kawam.
Wasalakna.
Wasalaknawa.
Tabawafna.
Tabwafinawa.
Wasalakna.
Wasalaknawa.
Tabawathanawa.
Tabwafinawa.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabaina.
Taviyanawa.
Barasaiwan.
Mansaiwan.
Abo.
Abo.
Hawashaina.
Hawashainawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalak.
Amalakwa.
Wala.
Wa'ala.
Wathai Parah.
Wafai
Wala Lamyam.
Lawalaniam.
Bashem.
Washem.
Hamashak.
Wasyak.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
The water.
The water.
Tamyad.
Tamyad.
Aman.
Aman. The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive men not their trespasses, now will your Father forgive your trespasses. Abonai Hauba Hashem Asakaoshai, Thawada, Thamyad, Aman.
Aman.
Hallelujah.
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 All praise and power go to Yahweh by Shema Shai, for surely his mercy endure forever. O Yahweh, we thank you, O Yahweh, for bringing us together, awakening, giving us an awakening in these last days. In these last days, when it comes to the time for you to send forth your Son to deliver us, the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans of any ascent, and all the 12 tribes of Israel of the diaspora spread across the 4 corners of this earth. It be that time, O Yahweh, that you send forth your Son to deliver us. And I thank you, O Yahweh, for all the souls and brothers and sisters that watches us over live, that watches us from all over the world, so that we may be joined together to sit down and open these books and crack it open and finally see these people that's within this book as our ancestors, as our brothers and sisters that kept thy commandments and followed thy ways of truth. But I pray unto how you may give us the understanding, open unto us the same as you did for the apostles in Acts chapter 2, as you gave them the Holy Spirit, I pray unto you, O Yahweh, that you put upon us the same Spirit. Abanaya Bashema Sekawashai, the water from Yad, Aman.
Aman.
You may be seated. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All praises and power go to Yahweh by Shem Amasiach Yahushai. For surely his mercy endureth forever. Do me a favor, put the live up here on the screen so I can see. We've done it once again through the glory and grace of the Most High, through his son, Amasiach Yahushai. We made it through another perilous week here in Babylon. Another perilous and atrocious week here in our captivity. But I thank the Most High God that we're sitting down. We're able to sit down every week on a Friday, starting at 8 p.m. and open these books and gain some level of wisdom and understanding and how we may move, the way we may operate here in America. You know, the law, statute, and commandments teaches us how to operate. The law, statute, and commandments guides us in our lives. But it's from actually watching these men and sisters either fail or succeed to follow God's commandments, as seeing how they fall or they succeeded. That's how we be able to gain understanding and how we can do it for ourselves, that we may not follow or we do follow, such as David, such as Solomon before he erred. You know, we may follow these men in their righteous steps and follow many of these righteous women in their steps, right? So let's begin with Colossians chapter 3, verse 17.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to power and the Abba by him.
To thank to what?
Do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to power and the Abba by him.
So we give thanks to the power and the Most High God by Shem Amasiach Yahushai. We do it through the name of Amasiach Yahushai, who the world so ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Right? But we're going to go straight into the portion this week. It's going to be Judges chapter 19. And I know, Israel, you already seen from the title. If you're not a Benjamite, if you're not a West Indian, you're not a Jamaican, you're not from Guyana, you're not from any of these glorious places where my people are, then you wouldn't understand the title of the video. But the title of the video is No Fish in Israel, right? No fish in Israel, no kribish in Israel, right? And we're going to be explaining why. Go ahead. Let's start this off.
Judges chapter 19, verse 19. Yet there is both straw and provender for our donkeys.
Right? So who's speaking? This is a young Levite man, a simp, as we spoke about last week, right? But we're going to leave that alone. We're talking about a young Levite man who went to go get his Judite wife, and they're looking for a place to stay for a night. He's not at home. He's looking to go back home, but he needs a place to stay just for a night, right? And read verse 19 from again.
Yet there is both straw and provender for our donkeys. And there is bread and wine also for me.
You know what? Start a little up. Let's start from verse 17. That's a good place to start from. Or here, hold on. Let's actually start from verse 16. That's a good place to start. Get some context to what verse 19 is talking about. There you go.
And behold, there came an old man from his workout of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim. And he sojourned in Gilba, but the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the streets of the city, And the old man said,
what?
Whither goest thou?
What did he say?
Whither goest thou?
Where are you going? Because there's something the old man knows about And we're going to go into that, but we're going to leave it off. I'm just going to foreshadow it, right? I'm going to give you a little foreshadow. There's something this man knows about this area, right, that he lives in and where this young Levite and this Judite woman is right now. He knows something about this area. So he's talking to this young Levite man who's Haitian. He speaks to him. He said, where are you going? Where do you think you're going at this time and in this place, right? He knows something about this area and something that goes on in this area, right? So that's why he's questioning the Levite. Go ahead.
And whence comest thou? And he said unto him, we are passing through from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the Lord. And there is no man that receiveth me to house. Yet there is both straw and provender for our donkeys.
So he has things to provide for his animals that he has with him, all right, in his caravan. Read on.
And there is bread and wine also for me.
All right, so he's good. Keep going.
And for thy handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servants, there is no want of anything. And the old man said, peace be with thee.
What did he say?
Peace be with thee.
The real beauty is that, and this is kind of poetic. I don't want to give it away, but this is poetic. That the old man, the first thing he said is, peace be with you. Right? In Hebrew, that's shalom. Peace be with you. Shalom. All right? Peace. Shalom. Peace be with you. Shalom. Right? So the old man is saying shalom to this brother, but it's poetic. It's because this young man, him coming there to that area and what befalls him in that area, he's really bringing peace to that old man who lives there and has to deal with it every day. Right? And we're going to learn about what's going on in that area. But there's something that goes on there, and the young man, because of everything that befalls him, he is going to be the one to bring shalom to that old man who actually lives there. Right? Keep going.
Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me. Only lodge not in the street.
Lie not what? Lodge not what?
Only lodge not in the street.
So he says, don't lay out in these streets, man. I'm going to tell you this. My ears are on these streets. I know what goes on. Right? And this is very familiar. Should be very familiar for a lot of brothers and sisters that are part of LOZ. We go over the Torah portion every week, right? On a Shabbat day. And we go over from Genesis to Deuteronomy. One of the stories in Genesis, very specifically, that's related to this story, that has a similarity, would be Genesis chapter 19. Let's get Genesis chapter 19.
Genesis chapter 19. And there came two angels
Wait, hold on. Stanley Pierre. Hey, my beloved brother, hey, Shalom. If you put a like on if you have put a like on this video, put a 1 in the chat. And after you do that, do me another favor, put your tribe in the chat so I can know, because I feel like you're a Levite. But because that last name Pierre. But I'm gonna say this. Yo, those are all music made by brothers of this school called The Light of Zion. Right? Those are made by our beloved captains, our Captain Asap, a Levite, and our beloved Captain Amwan, another Levite, and a young Benjamite brother named Shaquat. Right? So you can find their music on SoundCloud. I'll have by the end of this video, before the end of this video, I'm gonna post the link to it on the chat. So go ahead. Where do we leave off?
And there came chapter 19.
Okay,
Genesis.
chapter 19. So chapter 19 is the two angels that were sent to Sodom and Gomorrah to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, right? But first, they were supposed to go there to see if they could find at least one righteous. So they go there, and they encounter a man. And that man was Lot, the nephew of Abraham. We'll go ahead. We're going to see the similarities between what's going on in Sodom and Gomorrah and what is going on in Judges 19 with the Benjamites. Read on.
And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house.
What did he say?
Turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house.
You feel that? You feel that goosebumps? This is very similar to the old man. He didn't bow down. He didn't do all that, but the old man met the Levite, and he already just off the back told him, yo, come stay at my house. I don't want to see you out in these streets. You don't want to be in this area like that. You know what I mean? There's them fishy things going on in this area. You don't want to be out here like that. Come stay at my house. So we're seeing the same thing being played out with Lot. Lot is telling these angels, he don't know these angels, but he see them as men, and he see them being important people. So he tells them, yo, don't be out in these streets. Come stay at my house. All right, we see a similarity. Keep going.
And tarry all night, and wash your feet. And tarry all night, and wash your feet. And ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night.
Nah, we good. We're gonna abide in these streets. We made from we made from these streets, right? So we're gonna abide in these streets. Hold on one second. Let me catch up with you. Here, now let's go back. We're gonna pick this up. We're gonna go back to Genesis chapter 19, but let's go back to Judges 19.
Judges 19 and 20.
So we're gonna see the similarity. Lot compels these men to stay at his house because he understands there's something that goes on in where he lives. He's not telling them what's going on there, but he's telling them you do not want to be out in the streets. Come stay at my house. I'm begging you. I don't want to see y'all just come to the city, and I don't want to see y'all out here in these streets. Come stay at my house. It's the same thing with the old man with the Levite. Keep going, and we're gonna see why. But keep going.
Verse 20 of 19 of Judges. And
19,
the old
21.
And the old man said, Peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me. Only lodge not in the street.
Lodge not what?
Lodge not in the street.
Don't be out here in these streets. Come stay at my crib. Stay at my house. Come on, go ahead.
So he brought him into his house, and gave provender unto the donkeys, and they washed their feet, and did eat and drink.
Now, so everything was so good. Everything was good. Everything was well. You know, they brought the Kazakh. They brought the strongs. The Kazakh shata. They brought the strongs. They brought the wine. They were sipping. Everything was fine. Everything was was tawab. All right, let's go ahead. Keep on.
Now, as they were making their hearts merry.
Hey, all praise to the Most High for my beloved brother Stanley Pierre. He put a 1 in the chat, so it means he put a like on his video, man. So he's in the spirit with us, man. Go ahead.
Now, as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about.
Hold on. Read verse 32 one more time.
Now, as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial.
Certain sons of what?
Of Belial.
So, certain sons of Belial. So I've spoken about this multiple times, right? But I'm going to continue to speak on it so that the Israelites may be edified. Whenever you see Belial in the scriptures, it's not a genealogy. There's not a man named Belial. There's not some man this man named Belial and everyone's coming out of him. That's not what this is. Belial is what you'll call a Hebrew phraseology, or it's a Hebrew slang. It's the same way Benjamites say waste man, or Haitians today say vagabond, or Issachars or Hispanics would say cabron, right? It's a wicked, it's a grimy Negro. That's what it is. A wicked, grimy Negro who'll do anything. I mean, give him a pack of beer and he'll go shoot somebody for you. All right? So let's get some precepts just for the edification of Israel. Deuteronomy 13 and 3. understand what the sons of Belial are.
Deuteronomy 13, verse 3. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet.
I said 13 and 3?
13 and 3.
Yeah, let me hear that. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you, to know whether ye love the Lord your God, with all your heart and with all your soul. Ye shall walk after the Lord your God, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice. And ye shall serve him, and cleave unto him. And that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, shall be put to death, because he hath spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God.
Here, jump down, verse 12 to 13.
If thou shalt hear, say, in one of thy cities, which the Lord thy God hath given thee to dwell there, saying, certain men.
Certain who?
Certain men.
Certain men, read on.
The children of Belial.
The children what?
The children of Belial.
The children of Belial. So we're seeing the same thing again. The children of Belial, and what are they saying?
Are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying,
Saying what?
let us go and serve other gods.
What are they saying?
Let us go and serve other gods.
So this is an example of what sons of Belial would do. They're going to tell us what? They're going to convince you what? To go serve other gods. Sons of Belial would be the ones you would go to hire to go do what? Niggerism, right? There has been multiple wicked kings who would take sons of Belial, these wicked wastemen, and hire them to go kill somebody righteous. Right? These are what sons of Belial are. They exist today, right? Wicked, evil brothers that will just do anything, right? Because they don't got nothing to do and they don't have nothing to live for, right? So let's get another example, one more example of the sons of Belial. 1 Samuel 11, 1 Samuel 1 and 14. I actually love this. I love this example. 1 Samuel 1 and 14. First Samuel chapter 1, verse 14.
1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
And Eli said unto her, how long wilt thou be drunken?
What did Eli say?
How long wilt thou be drunken?
Eli is telling this woman is named Hannah, right? Jump down to read from 13.
Now Hannah, she spake in her heart. Only her lips moved, but her voice.
Actually, start from verse 12. I don't know why I said 13. Start from 12.
And it came to pass,
as
she continued praying before the Lord.
What did she do?
As she continued praying before the Lord.
So this is an example of the sons of Belial, right? So just to show you that it's not a genealogy or anything like that. It's just it's a Hebrew phraseology that we use, right? A worthless Negro, a worthless nigga, right? That's what a son of Belial is. And it says, and it came to pass as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. So she's there in front of the tabernacle. Hannah's praying to the Lord, right? But she's praying, but there's no sound coming out of her mouth. Her lips are just moving. Her eyes are closed. She's praying. Her lips are moving, but she's not producing any sound out of her mouth, right? She's praying to herself, basically, right? So go ahead.
And it came to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart. Only her lips moved.
There you go, right?
But her voice was not heard.
So you couldn't hear her. Keep going.
Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken.
He thought she was what?
Eli thought she had been drunken.
He thought this chick was crazy. thought this chick was crazy, and she got lost to the drink. Right? Keep going.
And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken?
What did he say?
How long wilt thou be drunken?
How long you gonna be drunk? Keep going.
Put away thy wine from thee.
Put away that Patron. Keep going.
And Hannah answered and said, No, my lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit.
What did she say? Keep going.
I have drunken neither wine nor strong drink, but I poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial.
What did she say?
Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial.
So what would be another example of a person that would be a daughter or a son of Belial? A drunkard. A drunkard. A Negro who just don't know how to stop drinking so much. A woman, an Israelite woman who just doesn't know how to stop drinking. Alcoholic. An alcoholic will be an example of a son of Belial. There's sons of Belial today, right? Waste men, right? So this is a beautiful example of what a son of Belial is. What verse were we at? 16? The son of Belial. Oh, you already finished it. You already said 16. You already said the son of Belial. You can go back to Judges 19 and 22.
Judges 19 and 22. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial.
Right, some worthless, well, I already said it. Some worthless niggas. Some worthless niggas is pulled up, right? Worthless Negroes pulled up to his house, right? Keep going. Some wicked men. Keep going.
Beset the house round about, and beat on the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him.
What?
Bring forth the man that came into thy house, that we may know him.
Fish. Fish. Read it one more time.
Bring forth the man that came into thy house, that we may know him.
Fish market. Oh my God. Oh my God. So we're going to be explaining what are these men actually saying? That we may know what? Men? We may know this man? What are they actually saying? So let's start with Genesis. Let's get Genesis chapter 24 verse 15 to show what it means to be know, that we may know him. What does that even mean? That's another example of a Hebrew phraseology. When you hear the term know, that Adam knew his wife, or he know her, a lot of times in scriptures that could be referring to sexual intercourse or sexual intimacy, right? So we're going to give a few examples. Genesis chapter 24 verse 15.
Judges 24 verse 15. And it came to pass before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born of Bethuel, the son of Micah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her.
What does it say?
A virgin, neither had any man know her.
A virgin, and neither had any man known her. So we're seeing that this phraseology is being used again, but for her, a virgin woman who hadn't have any sexual intimacy with no one. But what are they saying? No man has known her. So we're seeing these men in Judges 19. They're saying, yo, tell that man, get out of your house so we can know him. What? Let's quantify. Let's make sure that we're not blowing things out of proportion. Let's see what else. Let's see if we can see this again in another portion of the scriptures. Get Genesis 4 and 25. Let's see the earliest moments in the scriptures where this is being used. Genesis 4 and 25. All praise to the Most High. If you just came in, leave a like on the video. Leave a like on the video. It makes it easier for the algorithm to push the video forward in the virtual highways and byways. It makes it easier for brothers and sisters to find the video, right? The minute you type in, I don't know, R, and you put K, R. Kelly comes up. Why? Because so many people like the videos that's put of him on YouTube. The minute you put T, R, U, Donald Trump comes up. Put T, R, Donald Trump comes up. Put T, Donald Trump comes up. Put T, D, TD Jakes comes up. It's because of how many likes they're getting on these videos, right? It makes it easier for people to find it. So go ahead. That's what Genesis 4, verse 25.
Genesis 4, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
And to Seth, to him also there was a son born, and he called his name Enos.
No, wait. Genesis 4 and 25?
Genesis 4 and 25. 26. No, that was 26. And Adam knew his wife again.
What did it say?
And Adam knew his wife again.
Adam knew his wife again. And then what did it say?
And she bare a son.
She bare a son. So when you read this in another translation, can you put that on the screen? Genesis 4 and 25. In another translation, I want to show the people. Let's get Genesis chapter 4, verse 25 in another translation. And let's see example how they're translating this in other translations, right? What does it mean that he knew his wife again, right? Genesis chapter 4, verse 25. Let's just get the NIV. I'm pretty sure you can just scroll down. It'll be there. Oh, it went to KJV? Okay. Oh, hold on 1 second, Israel. You know, sometimes we be having technical difficulties. See, there you go. All praise the Most High. You see, it didn't take that long, Israel. It's good to have patience.
Genesis 4, verse 25 in the NIV.
Uh-huh.
And Adam made love to his wife again.
What did it say?
And Adam made love to his wife again.
Adam made love to his wife again. Keep going.
And she gave birth to a son and named him Seth.
So when we look at another translation, we're seeing how they're translating it. The KJV uses the Hebrew phraseology, knew, or I know he knew her. I known her. No man known her. She's a virgin. No man known her. Right? Adam knew his wife. Right? So let's get one more translation. Let's get the CSB. Or you know what? I think that's good enough. Or it doesn't matter. You go pull up. That's CSB. Let's see how it's translated. There you go.
And Adam was intimate with his wife again.
What do we see?
Adam was intimate with his wife again.
Adam was intimate with his wife. So we're seeing even with another translation, they may be using another word, but it still means sexual intercourse, right? So now let's go to Judges. Judges 19 and 22. Don't take that blue letter off too soon. You can leave it up there because we're going to pull up the blue letter again. Judges 19:22.
Judges 19 and 22.
So like it, we're going to be reading from the CSB translation. It's going to be up here. So like it. Because we're at it in the KJV. So I want to show you I want to show Israel how it looks, how it's being translated in another text. Judges chapter 19, verse 22. You put just. You put just again. I don't know why it's auto correcting. I don't know why. It did it again. There you go. Mm-hmm. 19 and 22. There you go.
While they
before you do it, reading KJV. Reading KJV, then read it in the translation.
Judges chapter 19, verse 22. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying,
Saying what?
Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him.
That we may what?
That we may know him.
Fish. Let's read it. Let's read it in translation. These guys speaking in code. Let's break the code with another translation. Go ahead, read it.
While they were enjoying themselves, all of a sudden, wicked men of the city surrounded the house and beat on the door. They said to the old man, who was the owner of the house, bring out the man who came into your house so we can have sex with him.
What?
So we can have sex with him.
Pause. Read it again.
Pause. Bring out the man who came into your house so we can have sex with him.
Oh my God. So this is the type of abominations that was going on in Judges, right? So we can understand why the old man was so adamant at this Levite not to be sleeping outside out in the streets. He was probably gonna set up like a couple of tents, a tent for himself and his concubine, a tent for his servants, and tied down his beast. But they were gonna be surrounded by these Bati boys, right? This band of Bati boys, they were gonna be surrounded. These band of Masisi, they were gonna be surrounded by them, right? That's why he wanted him to be in his house. Come to my house. Come stay at my house. Don't be out in these streets like that. Because he understood what was going on in his area, in his hometown. Right? So read that translation one more time for the family at home. There you go. Read that translation one more time.
While they were enjoying themselves, all of a sudden, wicked men of the city surrounded the house and beat on the door. They said to the old man, who was the owner of the house, bring out the man who came into your house so we can have sex with him.
So we can have what?
So we can have sex with him.
Right. So this is what they were exactly saying. We want to have sexual intercourse with this man. So get him out of your house and surrender him to us. Right? So now let's go back to the KJV. Judges 19 and 22. You can stop sharing the screen. The order.
19 and 22. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him.
So now we understand what that means, right? We understand what they want. They want something. And now we know what they want, right? So now let's read verse 23. These fish, these Bati boys, right? And it's so good. It's so I don't think it's still quote unquote gay Pride's month, right? I'm not sure if it's still.
It's not.
It's not, right?
No.
But it's all praise to the Most High that we're touching this now. It's still all praise to the Most High we're touching this now, because I know gay pride might is still hot in the minds of a lot of these brothers and sisters. So. Let's keep going.
And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them,
what did he say?
Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly.
Do what?
Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly.
He said, do not do so wickedly. So they understand this is wicked. Why do they understand this is wicked? You know what scriptures I want. You know what scripture I want. Leviticus 20 and 13. They understand this is wicked. Why is it wicked? Is it because that old man wasn't into it? America would say, oh, you're just saying that. Oh, you're just saying homosexuality is wrong because, oh, you got a personal thing going on with you. Oh, you hate women. Oh, you have a mama issues. You this, that, and the third. It's not because of any of that. It's because the laws of God says, Leviticus 20 and 13, go ahead.
If man also lie with man.
What it say?
If man also lie with mankind.
One more time.
If man also lie with mankind.
If man also lie with mankind. Right? Read.
As he lieth with a woman.
As you lie with a woman. Read.
Both of them have committed an abomination.
What are they?
Both of them have committed an abomination.
They have committed an abomination. Keep going.
They shall surely be put to death.
And they're going to die. You're going to die. You know, I deal with I deal with brothers out there who are homosexuals. I come across them as much as anyone else, right? And I still teach them the word. I teach my brothers and sisters that are homosexuals all the time. I teach them the word. And I pray that they repent and keep the commandments, right? Because the same way I teach drug dealers, I teach gangbangers, I teach Crips, Bloods. I teach brothers all the time. They're all the same because it's all wickedness. But I have to be cold and collective. If you don't stop taking rod from another man, you are going to die. It's going to happen. It will happen. The Most High will kill you. Same way the Most High would kill me if I was smoking weed. Same way the Most High would kill that brother if he was smoking Black and Mouse. If you're sword fighting, the Most High is going to kill you. This is what's going to happen to these Benjamite men. These guys deserve death. That's why the old man said, don't do so wickedly. Because these Benjamites should understand that. And since we have the blue letter still on the screen, let's read Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13 in another translation. And let's see what it says. How about that? Oh, you're stuck in a KJV. We ain't stuck in nothing. We stuck in the Word of God. That's what we're stuck in. Right? You have to be able to release yourself. You have to be able to use translation comparative study. You have to compare all the translations, right, to have a clear understanding of what the scripture is saying. It's very simple. There's no way to confuse yourself to say, oh, which translation should I go with? This translation says this. This translation say that. It's very simple. What holds the highest level of authority is the original language. There's something called the interlinear. The interlinear shows you what the actual sentence is saying in the original language in Hebrew. If a translation is saying something against the interlinear, then that translation is wrong. It's very simple, right? So go ahead. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13, and start with the... Hold on. Start with let's start with NIV. Let's start light. Leviticus 20 and 13, NIV. That's crazy. You have to type it down every time you change the translation. There you go.
If a man has sexual relations with a man...
Read it slowly, but read it again.
If man has sexual relations with a man
if man has sexual relations with another man, right? Read on.
As one does with a woman.
Well, as one does with a gal, right? If man has sexual relationships with another man, as one would do with a gal. Read on.
Both of them have done what is detestable. They
Uh-huh.
shall be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads.
Their blood is going to be on their own heads. Now let's read it in the NLT, and then we'll go back. I like this one. NLT, this is a funny one. Go ahead. Read it slowly.
If a man practices
Read it slowly, read it slowly.
homosexuality,
Read it slowly. Go back. Read
having-
it slowly. Go back. Read it slowly. Take your time with this one. Go ahead.
If a man practices homosexuality, having sex with another man, as with a woman, both men have committed a detestable act. They must both be put to death, for they are guilty of a capital offense.
That's a capital offense. Brothers have an issue with us when we go out in the streets and we teach our people, try to edify them, that the Most High God created woman for man. Created woman for man. That's why you sleep with a woman, you create fruit. Something comes from it, right? They don't understand that when we harp on that, we harp on homosexuality. That is wrong, not based off any personal feelings, not because I don't have a good relationship with my mother, no, but because it's a capital offense according to the Bible, right? So now let's go back to Judges.
Judges chapter 19, verse 23. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly. Seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a
What did he
maiden.
say?
Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them will I bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But unto this man do not so vile a thing.
All right, so you have to put yourself in the shoes of this old man. This old man is willing to offer up his daughter, sacrifice his daughter to these vagabonds, right? He's willing to offer up his own daughter, offer up this man's concubine, right? Just so this man doesn't have to experience the most detestable thing, which would be him engaging in sexual intercourse with the same sex. That's something so taboo to the Israelites that he was willing to offer up his own daughter. It's something so vile in his thought. He couldn't even process it. How can you be attracted to your same sex? What is wrong with you? But since you're about to kill me because of this vile affection you have, you might as well just take my daughter, take his wife, and then just leave this man alone. Don't do something so evil and detestable, something so abominable. How disgusting can you be to want to sleep with the same sex? That's what you have to see in his mind, right? He didn't want the brother to suffer suffer such a disgrace, right? And it's an abomination as we read in the law, it's an abomination for a man to go a man, a woman to go to a woman. But let's see what else the scripture says. Get Jude chapter 1 verse 7.
I'm not gonna do it for you.
Jude chapter 1 verse 7.
No, I think I do it for you. That's fine.
Are you still sharing the screen?
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen still. Jude chapter 1 verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget Sodom and Gomorrah.
What did it say?
And don't forget Sodom and Gomorrah.
You're reading from KJV?
NLT.
No, you can read it from the KJV. Read it from the
Even
script
as
right there.
Sodom and Gomorrah, the
Uh-huh.
cities about them in like manner,
Uh-huh.
giving themselves over to fornication.
Giving them what?
Giving themselves over to fornication.
And giving themselves over to fornication. Read on.
And going after strange flesh are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
They're going after strange flesh. That's what the scripture says. Sodom and Gomorrah is famous for going after strange flesh. We're going to see what Sodom and Gomorrah, we're going to see the primary source, which will be Genesis and when these events were taking place. Let's get the primary source, Genesis 19:4, please. Bible Shah. Genesis chapter 19, verse 4. Let's get an example of strange flesh. Going after strange flesh.
Genesis 19:4.
Uh-huh.
But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom,
Men of Sodom, these are African people. These are Canaanites, all right? Just to remind you so-called black people when you call yourself African, right? These Canaanites, even the men of Sodom, read on.
But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young.
Both old and young, read on.
And the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him.
So now we're continuing the story of where we left off before in Genesis chapter 19, where Lot had these two men approach him, and he's compelling these men, you do not want to be out on these streets, just like the old men did for the Levite. Do not be out on these streets, right? I'm telling you, come stay at my house. At least stay for the night. Drink, eat, wash your feet, have a good night rest, and then get up and go in the morning and go where you're going. But do not be out here in these streets at night, right? So now these men came back to Lot's house, just like the Levite came back to the old man's house, and we're seeing what's taking place. Go ahead.
And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came in thee this night?
Just like the Benjamites did to the old men. Read on.
Bring them out unto us, that we may know them.
That we may what?
That we may know them.
Most High forbid. Do we have to see in another translation to see what it's saying? Do we? I'll take your Israel. I'll take your silence as a yes. Let's get Genesis. Let's get Genesis 19:5, verse the NLT.
They shouted to Lot, where are the men that came to spend the night with you?
Uh-huh.
Bring them out to us.
What?
Bring them out to us.
Bring them out to us. Where they at?
So we can have sex with them.
To what?
So we can have sex with them.
Pause.
Halt.
Keep going. Bring them out?
So Lot stepped outside to talk to them.
Wait, bring them out?
Bring them out. Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them.
Right, fish market, clownfish. I don't know. I don't know. Tiger fish, right? My Benjamites know what I'm talking about. You know, shrimp patty. This is all abominations, right?
Squid.
Huh?
Squid.
Right? This is abominations. Right? So let's go back to the KJV. So we're seeing the example of what Jude 1 and 7 is talking about when it says Sodom and Gomorrah was the example, going after giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh. The strange flesh is talking about same sex intercourse, going after the same sex, man on man, woman on woman, right? This was something major. It was not just the old men doing it, it was the young men doing it. So now we're seeing the same thing, a parallel going on with the Benjamites, right? Where we leave off in Judges 19.
Judges 19, verse 25.
25? I think it was 24.
24. And
Hold
the
on,
children.
Wait, hold on. No, it was 25. You read 24 already. A vile thing. Go ahead. 25.
19.
Judges 19:25.
Judges 19 and 25. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them. And they knew her and abused her all night until the morning.
What did they do?
And they knew her and abused her all night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go.
Right. So they abused her all night, which means they forced themselves. Can't say the R word. You know, that's a no go on YouTube. But they forced themselves onto this woman, right? They forced themselves onto this woman all the night, abusing her sexually, right? And what that does to a woman, what that does to a woman, it causes a shock in her body, right? Sometimes it's different for most women. Sometimes it can be a psychological shock, a sociable shock, but sometimes it can be such a trauma that can cause actual death, right? And it's something that occurs even today, right? So let's get a scripture on what the law says. These men already were trying to attempt. Get Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 25. But these men were already trying to attempt to sodomize this man, right? But now they were already being on the chopping block. But now they're committed an abomination. They forced themselves onto this woman. Now they've broken the law, right? And when a man breaks the law, then comes sin. And when comes sin, comes death. Read Deuteronomy 22 and 25.
Deuteronomy 22 and 25.
Let's see what the law says.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field,
that woman belonged to that man. She belonged to the Levite. She was his concubine, right? Read on.
And the man forced her.
What did he do?
And the man forced her.
These men took this woman and forced themselves on her all the night long. Read on.
And lie with her.
Uh-huh.
And the man only that lay with her shall die.
These men deserve death. They deserve to no longer breathe, no longer to live, right? Because they forced themselves onto this woman, right? Whether she belonged to somebody or whether not, they forced themselves onto this woman. They do not deserve the right to breathe anymore, right? Now, Deuteronomy 22 and 26, next verse. But unto the damsel,
thou shalt do nothing.
What did it say?
But unto the damsel, thou shalt do nothing.
You're not going to do anything to the damsel. I know she's getting she's having sexual relationships with another man. She has a husband already, but you're not going to do anything to her. Why? Read on.
There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death.
There is nothing in the damsel worthy of sin. Read on.
For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
So the same way a man will rise up and kill another man, it's the same way when a man forces himself onto a woman. You psychologically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally slayed that woman, killed that woman. So now you deserve death, right? So now let's go back to Judges.
Judges chapter 19, verse 26.
There was something 27. I wanted to say on this. I forgot what it was.
26.
Hold on 1 second. There was something I wanted to say on this. Okay, there you go. Yeah, this part of it right here, not this part, but the part before, with the man offering up his daughter, and the man's concubine, so that the man is not sodomized. This is such a Thorder. Hey, that was a good call. All praise to the Most High. You're appreciated. I saw that message all the way from here, no sound. I appreciate that. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. So, as I was saying before, I don't know where the sound cut off, so I'm just going to start from where I left off. Judges 13:24, where the man was willing to offer up his daughter and the other man's concubine, it's important to analyze his state of mind. He was willing to offer up these two people rather than seeing these men perform an abomination toward this young Levite, right? Having same-sex sexual intercourse with this man was something that he couldn't even perceive in his mind. He would rather just give up these women than let them do what they wanted to do with that man, right? The example I wanted to give was a Netflix series called, a Hulu series called Snowfall. In the show called Snowfall, you have the first season where the main character, Franklin, he has this money. He just sold drugs. He got this money, and then he got the money stolen from these two guys. So he's trying to find one of the guys that hit him and took the money from him. So he's going around the hood talking to different people, and one of these Jakes that just got out of jail, he tells them, "Yo, I know the guy who hit you. I know the guy who took your money. I know where he stay. Follow me." The main character, Franklin, he ain't never asked for him to come follow me, go with him. He just asked for the directions, but he decides to go with him anyway. So when they get to the guy's crib, they're breaking the stuff. They got him. They beat him up. They tied him down. They said, "Yo, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the drugs?" He doesn't want to tell them. So the guy who just came out of jail, he said, "I'll get the answer." So he takes the Jake. He takes him to the room, and they were thinking the whole time he was beating up the Jake to get the answer where the money and drugs were, but he actually was raping the Jake. The man who just came out of jail, he was raping the Jake in the bedroom. And they were thinking to themselves, they were like, "What's that sound?" Wait, it sounds like he's doing him. And when they opened that door, they crack open that door and they saw what that man was doing to him. And that Jake, he took the money and took the drugs. He found out where it was. He took the money, took the drugs out of the house, jumped out the window, and he left. They hunted that Jake down. They got the money and drugs back. And then when he was running away and they could have left him alone, they said no. They caught up to him and they shot him in his face for what they saw him do to that other man. Right? So this shows you our state of mind as Israelites. This is not something light. Seeing homosexuality, same-sex relations every day, this is not something that's easy for us to deal with, right? Especially so much more the Benjamites. But, I speak as a man and not as the Most High. I believe there's a reason why Benjamin harps so much on being against homosexuality. It's a spiritual reason, right? But let's continue the scripture and I'll reveal it in due time. Let's go ahead. You was on verse 26?
Verse 26. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day. And fell down at the door of the man's house where the Lord was until it was light.
So she just got forced. These men was forcing her all night. They really wanted her husband. They really wanted to sleep with her husband, but they couldn't get him. So they forced her all night, abused her sexually all night. And they finally let her go. She's jumping, she's tripling, she's drooping all over the place, trying to get back to her husband. And when she finally gets to her husband, she just falls down and she collapsed right at the doorpost. And from this verse, we would assume that maybe she just passed out. But that would have been that would have been the best situation. But it's actually because she actually died. That trauma, that physical trauma of being forced on by all these men all night, this is actually something that killed her. There's a message down there. What's that message? I can't even see him. But Officer Barakan, what's that message? Do me a favor. Put the YouTube back up here so I can see the messages myself. But yeah, so this is trauma that she felt. And this actually put her body into shock. And this is what actually killed her. All right, there's some I don't want to say stupid, so I won't say stupid. So I'm gonna say silly. There's some silly Israelites out there who actually think that she just passed out, and we're gonna see what her husband did after he found out. Looked at her. Right. Let's keep going.
And our Lord arose in the morning, and opened the doors of the house, and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman his concubine was fallen at the door of the house.
Right.
And her hands were upon the threshold.
Her hands were what?
And her hands were upon the threshold.
And her hands were upon the threshold. Her hands was just right here at the doorpost, so close to the door, but she's just laying there, lifeless. Right? Keep going.
And he said unto her, Up, and let us be going.
Uh-huh.
But none answered.
What did it say?
But none answered.
But none answered. All right. Keep going.
Then the man took her up upon an donkey, and the man rose up and got him unto his place. And when he was come into his house, he took a knife.
He took a what?
He took a knife.
He took a knife. Read on.
And laid hold on his concubine.
He laid hold on his concubine. Keep going.
And divided her together with her bones into 12 pieces, and sent her into all the coasts of Israel.
So he chopped this chick up. He picked this chick up, put her on his horse. Put her on a horse. Horse. Picked her up, put her on his horse, chopped this chick up, and sent her to all the chief houses of all the coasts of Israel. Right? And let's see what he asks. Go ahead. Verse 30.
And it was so that all that saw it said, There was no such deed done nor seen from the day that from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds.
So they're thinking about this, they're seeing this, and he's like, have we ever seen something so gruesome? Such a terrible estate that we're living in today, like this? Now I sent my beloved concubines, her body pieces to each one of y'all. See this and consider what should be done, right? So going back to, there's a theory out there for, I don't want to say stupid, so I won't say stupid, I'm going to say silly. There's silly Israelites out there who would read this and say, oh, she just collapsed. She's not dead. I don't know why he actually killed her. What? Are you silly? Right? This is the reason why we do our due diligence and study, right? Let's go to the blue letter. Get the blue letter on the screen. Blue letter on the screen and show Israel. Just in case any brothers and sisters ever deal with this nonsense, right? There's brothers and sisters out there who will see this and say, oh, she didn't actually die. She was just collapsed. She was passed out. And he just picked her up and chopped her up into pieces. What? I'm not going to say silly anymore. I'm just going to say stupid. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? You must be stupid. Let's get that. Genesis 25 and 18. Not Genesis 25 and 18. What am I talking about? Judges 19 and 26. Press it. There you go. Scroll down. Oh, no. It's not. I think you pressed the wrong verse. Did I say 25? I said 26. That's light. That's 26? Let me see. Okay, press it one more time. Salakia. Go down. Then she came, fell down. There you go, fell down. Right? So you go to that word fell down in Hebrew. It's the Hebrew word napal for fell down. Right? When you go to this word for fell down, you see it comes up as fall. Go back up. Fall, cast down, fall down, divide, overthrow, present, lay, rot, acceptable, lie down, inferior, lighted, lost. Keep going. But there's one context where this word can be used to mean violent death. This can be used in the scriptures as violent death. Nepal, right? So from what we see, the context of this scripture, what's going on, she's laying down on his ground. He's calling out to her, yo, let's go. He doesn't hear anything. So we see him later on do what? Pick her up, put her on his horse, chop her up. What? I know she's asleep. She's quote unquote asleep, but she didn't feel no the knife going into her body. We don't hear her screaming. The scribe who wrote this down didn't write that part down, right? So we see it being used as Nepal. If you scroll down, we'll see some verses that it's applied to. Let's see a context in where the word Nepal is used in the sense of actually death. Let me see. Scroll down. See, look, slay, smite out, throw down, perish. Right? Read down. Go down. Keep going. Keep going. Go up a little bit. Keep going. Genesis 25, verse 18. And we see it's being used in the context of death. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest toward Assyria, and he died, this is the same word, Nepal, H5307, in the presence of all his brethren. So we see the word Nepal, which is dealing with compassing, passing out, falling down, but it's also being used in the context of death, someone dying, right? So to put the cherry on the top of this, before I put the cherry on top of that, even in verse 27, where you see the word, the concubine was falling down, it's the same Hebrew word. It's the Hebrew word Nepal, right? So put the cherry on top. Let's get Judges 19. Not just 19, but you don't need to get it in the blue letter. You can put the YouTube up there on the screen. Read Judges 19, not 19, 20. Read Judges 20. Or you know what, Bayaman, can you read that for me?
This is Judges, chapter 20, verse 1.
Do me a favor, use the mic. 20 and 3.
This is Judges chapter 20, verse 3. Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpah. Then the children of Israel tell us, how was this wickedness?
Read that one part. Then said
the children of Israel, tell us, how was this wickedness?
Keep going.
And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain.
That was what?
That was slain.
No, she passed out.
That was slain.
No, she was sleeping.
That was slain.
Right. She was slain. When these men forced themselves onto her, it was such a traumatic feeling to her. It was something so what's the word for it? Traumatic? Not traumatic. Traumatic? Traumatic. There you go. Powerful brother right there. Traumatic situation that happened to her that caused her body to actually go into shock, and it killed her. That's why out of his own mouth, her husband, who called out to her and she didn't respond back, tells us she was slain. Right? So throw it out. Let's go back. Now we can go back. Where's my reader at? He disappeared. Go ahead. You can read Bunyan. Judges 19.
Judges 19.
And 30.
And it was so that all that was saw it, Salakia, said, there was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt. And unto this day, consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds.
And speak your minds. So consider, see the situation, and see it as how evil it really is, and consider your minds. What should be done, right? Now let's go to Judges chapter 20, verse 1.
Judges chapter 20, verse 9. 20, verse 1.
Con.
Then all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man, from Dan even to Beersheba, with the land of Gilead, unto the Lord of Mizpah.
Mm-hmm.
And the chief of all the people, even all the tribes of Israel.
I want to pay attention to one thing here in Judges chapter 20, verse 1. It's saying that all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man. This is very unique here in this chapter, because everywhere else we've been reading, it's been saying what? It's been saying contrary. It's saying because in these times, everyone did right in their what? In their own eyes, right? Go actually get that for me. Judges 21 and 25. Read that with camp voice for me.
The book of Judges, chapter 21, verse 25. In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes.
Right. But now in Judges chapter 20, we're seeing something unify us. We're finally unified. And what's causing us to be unified? And it's this situation. This abomination that's going on in Benjamin. It's evil that's taking place in Benjamin. Right? So now let's go to verse 2.
Verse 2. And the chief of all the people, even of all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew sword.
Mm-hmm.
Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpah. Then said the children of Israel, tell us, how was this wickedness? And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah, and belongeth to Benjamin, I and my concubine to lodge.
Right, so hold that. Officer Mosmore, give me the book of Sirach. Sirach 11 and 7 and 11 and 8. Sirach 11 and 7 and 11 and 8. You can keep going, trooper. From verse 4.
And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gilgal with the belongeth to Benjamin. I had my concubine to lodge.
Uh-huh.
And the men of Gibeah rose against me, and beset the house round about upon me by night, and thought to have slain me.
Thought to what?
And thought to have slain me.
Wait, that's not what was happening. That's not what we read in the holy text. These men were not surrounding the house of that old man because they wanted to slay him. Is that what was happening? What was the intention of those men that came around that old man's house? What did they want to do to that man? Huh? You sure?
Sex.
What was it?
Sex.
They wanted to have sexual intercourse with this man. That's what they wanted to do. But what should be paying attention to in this verse is that from his perspective, that was something so it's something he couldn't even process in his mind, right? That because in our law, we've been raised to see this as something so evil and despicable. So even though they made their what they wanted, their objective, we want to have sexual intercourse with this man, they told him bluntly, you right there, right? But in his mind, he just couldn't perceive that. He just took it as, these niggas are trying to kill me. Right? These niggas trying to kill me. Right? So let's keep going.
And my concubine have they forced, that she is dead. And I took my concubine and cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all of the country of inheritance of Israel. For they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. Behold, ye are the children of Israel. Give here your advice and counsel. And all the people arose as one man.
Oh,
saying,
Salakia. Did you get that precept? Go ahead. You can read that right now. Sirach 11:7. We're just harping on the fact that what the Israelites are doing. All these Israelites that's moving as one man, they're doing righteousness. They didn't just these body pieces. That's some gruesome thing. Imagine some body piece coming in your mailbox. A hand, a foot, a thigh, right? That's crazy. You would jump automatically to go do something, right? I know I would, right? But they actually going by righteousness and say, tell us what's going on. They go meet up. They actually come meet up with the Levite. The Levite, explain to us what exactly is going on, right? Go ahead.
The book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 7. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
What did it say?
Blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
That's what us as Israelites have to learn. Even in anger, even when you're mad, even when you're frustrated, you have to make sure to go in righteousness. There's no evil thing about being mad. There's nothing wrong with being angry. Who told you that's a sin? There's nothing wrong with being angry. Paul told us, be angry, but sin not. These guys were frustrated seeing this, hearing about this, but they're still moving in righteousness because they're not blaming first. They're learning the situation in completeness and wholeness. All right, go ahead.
Understand first and then rebuke.
What did it say?
Understand first and then rebuke.
Understand first and then rebuke. So now he spoke to the Levite. Now it's time for them to go to the Benjamites. So go ahead. Let's go back to the scripture. The water.
And all the people arose as one man, saying, we will not any of us go to his tent.
We're not going back to our territories. Read on.
Neither will any of us turn into his house. But now this shall be the thing which we will do to Gibeah. We will go up by lot against it, and we will take 10 men and 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of 1,000, and 1,000 of 10,000, to fetch victual for the people.
Right. We're preparing for a war, right? Keep going.
That they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying,
hold on. Israel, come on, Israel. If you're enjoying this class, you're being edified, educated, you feel like you're in the spirit, you ain't never heard it like this before, especially not from the Christian church, then put a like on the video. Get them likes up, man. We're trying to make it easier for brothers and sisters just like yourself to find the video. So put them likes up. If you just came in or you've been watching, you haven't put a like yet, put a like right now. And when you do so, put a 1 in the chat so we can see. You know, but get them likes up. So let's keep going.
So all the tribes of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, what wickedness is that is done among you? Now therefore deliver us the men, the children of Belial.
The worthless niggas. Offer up these worthless. Do not hide them. Do not hide these worthless niggas. Offer them up. Right? Keep going.
Which are in Gibeah. That we may put them to death.
That we may what?
That we may put them to death.
We put them to death. Read on.
And put away evil from Israel.
So why are they jumping straight to death? It's because the scripture says what? The witnesses of how many? The witness of what? 2 or 3. The witnesses of 2 or 3 would a matter come to a conclusion. And how will that be done? Who's the witnesses so far in this case? Officer Bunnicut first. First witness. First witness that condemns these guys to death. Well, just give me one. The old man. The old man is the first witness. Second witness. Officer Mazmar. Who's the second witness to this case? See, now I'm teaching y'all law and order now. Who's the second witness to this case? The scripture says what in Sirach 11 and 8 and 9? It says what? Blame not. Hear the whole matter. Hear the truth. And then rebuke. They're not pulling these Benjamites inside and saying, let's hear your side of the story. No. They're already saying, offer them up so we can put them to death. Why? Why are they going straight to death to these guys? Because the law says, in the witnesses of 2 or 3 shall a matter be discussed. Will a matter be declared? Right? We have one witness, the old man. Second witness is who? Huh? They're the niggas that we want to put to death. Huh? Who? Yeah, she was, but I want someone else. It's the old man and who else? Think. Who? The husband. That's 2 witnesses already. The old man, the Levite that they're questioning in the first place. Right? There's the servants, and then there's the daughter. So there's plenty of witnesses to show that these men weren't doing anything. They were in their house relaxing, and these Benjamites came out of nowhere trying to force themselves on this man, and then end up forcing themselves on this woman, and end up killing her. All right? So that's showing that this is why they're going straight to death on these niggas. Let's go back. Let's go.
But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the city unto Gibeah, to go out to battle against the children of Israel.
Wait, what verse were you just reading?
14.
Read verse 14 one more time.
But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities unto Gibeah.
Wait, you read 13 already?
I was in the middle.
Here, read 13 one more time. Salakia.
Now therefore deliver us the men, the children of Belial,
these worthless niggas,
which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death.
That we may what?
That we may put them to death.
Right?
And put away evil from Israel.
That's reasonable, but keep going.
But the children of Benjamin would not hearken.
What?
The children of Benjamin would not hearken.
Younger brothers. Children of Benjamin would not hearken. Right? And this is the reason why we went to war. Rather than just going and finding these Negroes and putting them to death, we actually went to war with this tribe. Because they've been partakers of these Negroes' sin. And why that makes them partakers? Let's get the law. Get Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1. Officer Mazumar. Let's see. These guys has now been partakers of these group of men, these young Benjamites, in their sin. Let's see how.
The book of Leviticus chapter 5 verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And if a soul sin.
What it say?
And if a soul sin.
And if a soul sin.
And hear the voice of swearing.
Mm-hmm.
And is a witness.
And is a what?
And is a witness.
Is a witness. There's witnesses. That's the Levite, the old man, the servants, the daughter. They're all witnesses to this. Read on.
Whether he has seen or know of it.
The Benjamites know emphatically these men did it. They forced themselves onto this woman. They killed this woman in them doing so. And they know that emphatically, but guess what? Keep going.
If he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
He shall what?
Bear his iniquity.
Don't bear the iniquity. So they have to bear their iniquity alongside these group of Benjamites. Because guess what? They know that matter. They know the situation, but they don't want to give them up. There's a you good, the Water King. There's a legal terminology for that. I think it's no, accomplice is a good one. I'm thinking more along the sides of obstruction of justice. Maybe it's alongside the obstruction of justice. It's when you're standing in the way of justice being taken place. But that seems more in the side. When you go into the definition of that, it's more in the sense of bribery and things like that, or intimidation. But I think accomplice would be better. They're an accomplice to their iniquity, their sin. So now let's go to verse 14.
But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel.
Read that one more time.
But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel.
Where are you?
Just ending 13.
Oh, okay. I thought you were reading from 14 again. Okay, go ahead. You good.
But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities unto Gibeah, to go out to battle against the children of Israel. And the children of Benjamin were numbered at the time out of the cities 26,000 men that drew sword, beside inhabitants of Gibeah, which were numbered 700 chosen men. Among all this people, there were 700 chosen men left-handed. Every one could sling stones at a hair breadth and not miss.
Right, let's not forget, these are Benjamites. They may be wicked right now. They may be in sin right now. But they know how to give up the smoke. Right? They gave the smoke to the heathens, now they're going to have to give us the smoke. Right? So we have to play our hands carefully with these crafty Benjamites. Right? Let's keep going.
And the men of Israel beside Benjamin were numbered 400,000, men that drew sword. And these men were of war. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up to first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And Adawan said, Yahweh shall go up first.
The African Americans. So African Americans that's right. African Americans gonna go up first to give the West Indians, they're making some smoke first. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin. And the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah.
And the children, Salakia, Officer Brunnacut, do you still have that board? Do you still have that board and marker?
I don't think it's here. I think I handled that one. I think I handled that one. I don't think it's here.
You don't think it's here, right? No. Okay, go ahead. It's fine. Go on.
And the men arose, went out to battle against Benjamin. And the men of Israel put themselves in array again to fight against them at Gibeah. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. And the men of Israel encouraged themselves. and set their battle again in array in the place where they put themselves in array the first day. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until even, and asked counsel of the Most High, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Most High said, go up against him. And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day.
So this is very important. Not very important, but it's a minor thing. It's a minor detail. There's a difference between 23, where the Most High said, go up against him, and then his final time saying, go up against him, for I will deliver him into your hands. He's just saying, go up against him. He's not saying, go up against him, I'm going to make you win. You're going to win. He's just saying, get up and go. Right? So it's very important. It's a side note. Just pay attention to that small detail. Lord is literally not saying you're going to win. Lord is just saying, go and do it. Right? Go ahead.
And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men, and these drew the sword. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came up to the house of the Most High, and went and wept, and sat there before the Most High, and fasted that day until even, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Most High. And the children of Israel inquired of Yahweh, for the ark of the covenant of the Most High was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother, or shall I cease?
So this is an example of it's not being the Judges is not in chronological order. Judges is almost finished. We only got one more chapter and then Judges is over. But why is it talking about Phinehas? Phinehas was alive the same time Joshua was alive. Joshua was dead. Joshua was long gone. So Judges chapter 20 talking about Phinehas being alive at this time period right here. Phinehas is alive here at Judges chapter 20. You see? This is another example that Judges is the events in Judges is not all in chronological order. They're all different. They're all different type of events and stories that's taking place from the moment Joshua died, right? Up to the moment Joshua died, leading up to Samuel coming about, the major prophet, right? So this is another example. I think we went into this, last week for 18 with the Danites and how that wasn't in chronological order either. Because during that period of time when the Danites were doing that thing with Micah the Ephraimite, they were doing it while Joshua was still alive, right? But that was all the way in chapter 16, right, in Judges, right? So go ahead.
And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, shall I yet again go out to the battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And shall I cease? And the Most High said, go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thine hand. And Israel set liers in wait round about Gibeah. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on that third day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah as at other times. And the children of Benjamin went out against the people and were drawn away from the city. And they began to smite of the people and kill, as at other times in the highways, of which one goeth up to the house of the Most High, and the others to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said, they are smitten down before us, as at the first. But the children of Israel said, let us flee, and draw them from the city, unto the highways.
Right. So this is all playing back to nostalgia, right? This is very familiar. The Israelites were given a battle strategy in how to defeat these crafty Benjamites. And is anybody feeling a little familiar to how they're doing it? We've done this before as Israel. The way the Israelites are going against Benjamin right now, they did this before under someone else's banner. I'll give it to you. It was too hard. It's difficult for this one. Under Joshua, when Joshua was conquering the Canaanites, one of the major defeats, one of the major battles Joshua did was against a city called Ai. And when he fought against Ai, it was defended. It was fortified. So what he had to do was what? He had to go toward Ai, and then he had to run away from Ai with his soldiers. He had another group of soldiers hiding in the fields behind Ai. So when he drove the men of war away from Ai, then the men of the field will come out of there and run into Ai city and start to destroy it and set it on fire. And then when they'll see the fire going up, the smoke and fire, the men in Ai will turn around and they'll be trapped between the soldiers that are coming out of the city and the soldiers that is in front of them, that are Joshua and his troops. So now they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? The Israelites is performing the same tactic, but against the Benjamites, right? So go ahead. That's why the Benjamites is saying, look, they're running away just like we did before. We're killing them. They're running away just like before. Keep going.
And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place and put themselves in array at Baal Tamar. And the liars in wait of Israel came forth out of their places, even out of the meadows of Gibeah. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all of Israel. And the battle was sore, but they knew not that evil was near them.
Keep going.
And the Most High smote Benjamin before Israel. And the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamites that day 25,100 men. All these drew the sword. So the children of Benjamin saw that they were smitten. For the men of Israel gave place to the Benjamites, because they trusted unto the liars in wait, which they had set beside Gibeah.
Just like Joshua did, right? Keep going.
And the liars in the wait hasted and rushed upon Gibeah.
They rushed into the city.
And the liars in wait drew themselves along and smote all the city with the edge of the sword. Now there was an appointed sign between the men of Israel and the liars in wait, that they should make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city. And when the men of Israel retired in the battle, Benjamin began to smite and kill of the men of Israel about 30 persons. For they said, surely they are smitten down before us, as in the first battle. But when the flame began to arise up out of the city with a pillar of smoke, the Benjamites looked behind them, and behold, the flame of the city ascended up to heaven. And when the men of Israel turned again, the men of Benjamin were amazed, and they saw that the evil was come upon them. Therefore they turned their backs before the men of Israel unto the way of the wilderness. But the battle overtook them, and them which came out of the cities they destroyed in the midst of them. Thus they enclosed the Benjamites round about, and chased them, and trode them down with ease over against Gibeah toward the sun rising. And there fell Benjamin 18,000 men, and these were men of valor, that they turned and fled toward the wilderness unto the rock of Rimmon. And they gleaned of them in the highways 5,000 men, and pursued hard after them until Giddom, and slew 2,000 men of them. That all which fell the day of Benjamin were 25,000 men that drew sword. All of these were men of valor. But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness unto the rock Rimmon, and abode in the rock Rimmon 4 months. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin, and smote them with the edge of the sword, as well as the men of the city as the beast, and all that came to hand. Also set on fire all the cities that came to.
Exactly. This is the back to what the Benjamites were saying, that evil was near, right? That defeat. They defeated them, right? So chapter 21. This will be the last chapter of Judges. Powerful, powerful book of Judges, right? Judges chapter 21.
Chapter 21. Now the men of Israel sworn in Mizpah, saying, there shall not any of us give his daughter unto Benjamin to wife.
So there was oaths that was made in Mizpah when they gathered the first time, after they heard the confessions of the Levite. The first oath that they made was they're not going to give their daughters to the tribe of Benjamin, right? They're not going to give their daughters to the tribe of Benjamin. If they're going there to kill Benjamin, kill the men, kill the women, kill the children, put these people into destruction, put these people into array, and they're not going to give their daughters onto them either, then there was some level of hate that was in the hearts of the Israelites, right? And it makes sense why they hated it. They had a hate in their heart because of what they saw, right? But there was some level of hate that they had for the Benjamites at this moment of time, that they weren't willing to give their daughters to them, right? So keep going. That's the first oath, right? Keep going.
And the people came to the house of the Most High and abode there till even before the Adawan, and lifted up their voices and wept sore, and said, O Yahweh, power of Israel, which is this come to pass in Israel, that there should be today one tribe lacking in Israel.
Right.
And it came to pass on the morrow that the people arose early and built there an altar and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. Daughters-in-law with her, and they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah.
Wait, hold on. You're verse 5?
Slakia.
You good, King. We're at Judges chapter 21, verse 5.
And the children of Israel said, who is there among all the tribes of Israel that came not up with the congregation of the Most High?
This was the second oath. When they initially went up to go against Benjamin, they made a first oath. We're not going to give our daughters to Benjamin. The second oath is that whoever doesn't go with us to kill these evil Benjamites, they are going to die. You do not deserve to live. Your heart must be too cold for you to feel anything after seeing the dead body pieces of this man's wife. So you don't deserve to live, right? So that was the second oath that the tribes of Israel made to each other. Whatever city, whatever tribe decided they want to go up to go fight, they're going to die, right? Keep going.
For they had made a great oath concerning him, that came not upon the Most High to Mizpah, saying, he shall surely be put to death.
Give me Jeremiah 48 and 10. Whoever gets it first. Jeremiah 48 and 10. I think this is a good example of the oath that they had gave pertaining to this what was going on with Benjamin. You can keep reading, Brother Young.
And the children of Israel repented, them before Benjamin their brother, and said, there is one tribe cut off from Israel this day.
All right, because they're so small. We don't know what could have happened. If a disease happens, if a pestilence goes into the land, if they sin and the Most High gets angry, then these guys could be dead. And then we'll have no tribe anymore. We'll be only, well, Manasseh will probably replace them. So now, well, we'll still have 12 tribes then. Salakia. But, yeah. We'll be lacking on our West Indian brothers, man. Our Jamaican, our Yadis. They wouldn't be here with us, right? So this is something that the Israelites were deeply depressed, and they were regretting their actions. They didn't regret standing up for truth, but they regret that the condition that their brothers are in now. Right? Keep going.
How shall we do for wives?
Oh, Salakia, read that verse.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 48, verse 10. Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Most High deceitfully.
Uh-huh.
And cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood.
What did it say?
And cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood.
One more time?
And cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood.
And cursed be he that keep his sword back from blood. You don't want to. You do not want to shed blood in the name of the Lord. Then your blood can be shed. Right? This was the oath that the Israelites were making to each other. So now they're questioning each other and saying, okay, now we've dealt with the Benjamites. Now we have to find out who didn't go up so we can fulfill this oath. Right? They made this oath to the Lord. Right? So where were we? What verse we at?
Verse 7.
Go ahead.
How shall we do for wives for them that remain?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing we have sworn by the Most High that we will not give them up our daughters to wives.
Mazmur, officer, give me Deuteronomy 23 and 21. Officer Bunakad, give me Sirach 6. Give me Ecclesiastes 5 and 6. They made an oath. They swear an oath. They made a promise. This wasn't a promise like Negroes be making a promise today, saying I'm gonna lose 30 pounds by next week, and then you're still eating donuts every day. This wasn't like today. When you make an oath to the Lord, you keep that oath. Let's start with Officer Mazmar. Your verse first.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 21.
Uh-huh.
When thou shalt vow a vow unto Yahweh thy power, thou shalt not slack to pay it.
What did it say?
Thou shalt not slack to pay it.
This is Deuteronomy, so this is law. This is law. They made an oath and a promise to the Lord. Read on.
For Yahweh thy power will require it of thee.
What do you do?
Require it of thee.
So the same evil that fell upon the Benjamites for their evil and for their transgression, it's going to fall right back on the heads of these tribes if they don't fulfill this oath. Read on.
And it would be sin in thee.
What does it be?
And it would be sin in thee.
It's going to be sin in you. Read on.
For if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee.
There would have been no sin on them if they chose not to make an oath to the Lord, but they chose to do it. Now they have to fulfill it. The Water King. Go ahead and read your verse.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 6. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin.
What did it say?
Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin.
Suffer not thy mouth to cause your flesh to sin. Right? Read on.
Neither say thou before the angel.
What did it say?
Neither say thou before the angel.
Now you don't want to fulfill your oath. Now the Most High got to punish your behind. And the Most High sends a death angel to your door. You're going to be begging to the death angel saying what?
That it was an error.
It was what?
That it was an error.
No, I didn't promise. God, I swear to you, I didn't promise I was going to lose 25 pounds by tomorrow. One more time.
That it was an error.
God, I swear to you, I never said I was going to go to the gym every morning. One more time.
That it was an error.
That was an error. Come on, man. Keep going.
Wherefore should God be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thine hand?
Every word that comes out of your mouth just makes the Most High even angrier. You made the promise. Now you act like the Most High didn't hear you when you made the promise. So let's keep going.
And they said, what one is there of the tribes of Israel that came not up to Mizpah to the Most High?
Right. So now These promises, very important, these promises are only solely toward this generation that's at this moment. This wasn't a generational oath. If it was a generational oath, it will be considered as a covenant that they made with the Lord. This is not a covenant that they made to the Lord. This was an oath with that generation, which means you Haitian men, Levite brothers, you African American brothers, listen, you can go find yourself a beautiful Jamaican sister. Listen, you can find yourself a beautiful Trinidad sister, Guyana sister from Ghana, Mali. Look at them. You can find yourself a beautiful sister from the West Indies. Trust me, there is no sin. She's there waiting for you. I mean, that's right. Hallelujah. And for you sisters, man, from any tribe, if you want to find yourself a West Indian man, they're somewhere. They're there. Trust me, they're there. You can find them, all right? All praise to the Most High. It was only at that moment that oath had to stand. Even when it came to killing the men who didn't go to war, that was only at that generation. It wasn't a covenant. So now they're thinking about how we're going to get these guys wives. These guys need wives. They need to multiply. We need to make sure they remain a tribe. So now they turn their attention to verse 8. Read verse 8 one more time.
And they said, what one is there of the tribes of Israel that came not up to Mizpah, to the Most High? And behold, there came none to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to this assembly.
So you have Negroes who say, oh, I heard it so many times. I'm like, what? Just read what? Use your lexicon and search out what Jabesh Gilead is. It's not heathens. I so many times brothers be reciting certain stories and situations in the scriptures, and they be doing it all wrong, all out of context. You read it, and it'll be something completely different than what they were saying. Brothers got to continue doing due diligence and continue reading these scriptures, getting these things down packed in your mind. I remember brothers were saying these were Moabites, these were Ammonites. Oh, they got them heathen wives. No. It's Jabesh Gilead. Gilead is in Israel. Jabesh Gilead, this is a city within Israel. Go into the Bible lexicon, search up Judges 21:8. For the process of time, Judges 21:8, go to Jabesh Gilead, you'll see it's a place in Israel. These are Israelites. That's why they're saying in verse 8, and they said, what one is there of the tribes of Israel that came not up to Mizpah to the Lord? And behold, there came none to the camp from Jabesh Gilead. So the context is who? Israel. They're talking about people who didn't go up from Israel. So they're Israelites. Oh my God. I remember back in 2019, there was a doctrine, oh, these are Moabites, you can marry Moabites, they're the only tribe they're the only heathens you can go marry. Look at them, they're right there in Judges. Negroes are crazy, man. Negroes are crazy, I'm telling you, right? Brothers got to keep the commandments. So let's keep going. Verse 9.
For the people were numbered, and behold, there were none of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead there. And the congregation sent thither 12,000 men of valiant test, and commanded them, saying, go and smite the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, with the women and the children.
So we remember that's the part of the first oath. Who didn't go to war had to die. They had to die. But because they didn't do so, this is going to help them with their other situation on getting wives for the tribe of Benjamin. Keep going.
And this is the thing that they shall do. Ye shall utterly destroy every male and every woman that hath slain by man. And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by lying with any male. And they brought them unto the camp to Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole congregation sent some to speak to the children of Benjamin that were in the rock of Rimmon, and to call peaceably unto them. And Benjamin came again at that time, and they gave them wives which they had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead, and yet so they sufficed them not.
They needed a lot more, which means if you didn't like multiple wives, well, nigga, today you're gonna like multiple wives. We need to multiply. You need children. Look at Benjamin today, 21 kids, 10 over there in Jamaica, 31 in Haiti. You need children, right? That's what he's basically saying. You need to multiply. We need to make sure y'all stay alive. So they said it wasn't suffice. We need more women for y'all. Keep going.
And the people repented them for Benjamin, because the Most High had a breach in the tribes of Israel. Then the elders of the congregation said, how shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing the women and destroyed out of Benjamin? And they said, there must be an inheritance for them that he be escaped of Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel. Howbeit we may not give them wives of the daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, cursed be he that giveth a wife to Benjamin.
Right. So remember what it is. The oath is, we can't give you our daughters, right? But they already, all that war, they put it behind them. They didn't forget their brother. We love you now. Don't worry about it. We put everything behind us. I mean, y'all died. I mean, so blood's been shed. Y'all all brothers. We can't give you our daughters, but what we can do is read verse 19.
Then they said, behold, there is a feast of the Most High in Shiloh, yearly in a place which is in the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and to the south of Lebanon. Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in wait in the vineyards.
Vineyards. Mm-hmm.
And see, and behold, if the daughter of Shiloh come out of to dance and in dances, then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh.
Right. So this okay. Now you got another thing where brothers were saying, oh, they were just scooping them up, right? They were taking these women by force, right? They were just taking them, take these women, kidnapping them. That's not what's going on here, right? These young virgin women are out there playing, they're enjoying their youth, relaxing and dancing, so on and so forth, being joyful, right? And then you got these young crafty, Benjamites. They chilling, they're on the prowl, right? They're stalking out these Benjamites, these women, right? So keep going, and then I'm gonna explain what they did. Keep going.
And catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. And it shall be when their fathers of their brethren come unto us to complain, that we will say unto them, be favorable unto them for our sakes, because we reserved not each man his wife in the war, for ye did not give unto them at this time, that ye should be guilty.
So he's basically saying that was the loophole in the oath. You didn't give it to them. So your daughter was out there. They were just enjoying their time. And then the Benjamites came out there. They chop it up, snatched them, bagged them, got them, and brought them back to their land. And it made them their wives. So none of us technically broke the oath. We didn't give it to them. They snatched them. They got them, right? They got the women without us having to give it to them. You understand? You didn't give him your daughter, but he ran game. He ran game. He got the daughter, right? You didn't give him your daughter's number, but how he got your daughter's number in his phone. Because Benjamin's a silver-tongued devil, right? Let's get a scripture. Let's get Proverbs. Proverbs 7 and 21. Proverbs 7:21. Yeah, it says that they cast her, they snatched them up. I mean, they made them their wives, right? Brothers will see that and say, "Oh, they're doing it by force. They're forcing them. I mean, they're forcing themselves upon them. That's not what's going on, right? They're doing something that we do every day, and they're running game, right? Let's read that. Proverbs 7:21. Let's get an example. Oh, Officer Mosmore, you can go ahead and read it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 7, verse 21. With her much fair speech, she caused him to yield.
She caused him to what?
She caused him to yield.
With much fair speech, she caused him to yield. Read on.
With the flattering of her lips, she forced him.
She did what?
She forced him.
One more time.
She
forced him. So you have this woman. She's flattering him, using words, delicious, wonderful words, to force him to do something she wants him to do, which is to lie down and have sex. Right? It's the same thing with these Benjamites. These Benjamites, when it says they catched them, they snatched them up, they bagged them. Took them up. It says they humbled them, they took them. It's literally talking about how they use their words, right? Like I said, these Benjamites, they were on the prowl. They was in the grass. What we call it, the bush. They're in the bush, waiting, and they see these beautiful women, and it was like, damn, I'm gonna snatch that one. I'm gonna snatch her over there. I know what to say to get her. I'm gonna bring her back to my house. It's just what it is. They didn't ask for them. They weren't given those women, but they got them. That's how they solved their problem, right? Benjamin. Oh, the water king. Benjamin's a what did I say before? I forgot what I said before. A silver-tongued. Yeah, Benjamin's a silver-tongued devil. If Benjamin's around, you gotta watch. You gotta keep a good eye on your daughter, man. Because Benjamin. Let's go back to Judges. Judges 21 verse 23. Look, see, we have a Benjamin right here. I forgot. We have a Benjamin right here. He's a silver-tongued devil right here. You gotta be careful. You gotta put the camera on him. Sisters, if you see this brother, beware. Beware, or you might become his wife. I'm telling you, be careful. Where are we at? Where are we at?
23.
Come on.
And the children of Benjamin did so, and took them wives, according to their number, of them that danced, whom they caught. And they went and returned unto the inheritance, and repaired their cities, and dwelt in them. The children of Israel departed hence at that time, every man to his tribe, to his family. And they went out of the hence, every man to his inheritance.
So the situation was ended. It was finished. It was done, right? This great evil was vanquished, the thing that unified us. And after being unified, what did we go back to? Read verse 25.
In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did which was right in his own eyes.
And we went right back to the confusion. We was unified, and then we went right back to the confusion. Right? But I want to say, Ba'ashem Amasyak Yahawashai, the water, the yard, aman. Let's clap it up. Our praise to the Most High. This is a powerful, wonderful, glorious class. Like the title of this class, no fish in Israel. Right? So I want to say all praise to the Most High. If you can do me a favor, Officer Bunnicud, can you swing this up onto the screen real quick so I can see? I saw some messages in there, but I couldn't really see it from this distance. Okay. All praise to the Most High. A lot of brothers and sisters, they will keeping up with the messages. Marie, all praise to the Most High. Oh, all praise to the Most High. This is our duty. to edify our people. Oh, you're in the tribe of Levi? You know, clap it up for that. All praise to the Most High, the tribe of Loya, man. But now we're going to stand and face the east and start this prayer so we can go hit these streets. I forgot about that silver-tongued devil right here, Benjamin, our beloved Chief Minister Solomon. Give a hand to the Chief Minister Solomon watching the class. Hallelujah. Oh man, let's get this. Go ahead. Psalms chapter 133. Prayer screen. There you go. Psalms 133 and the Lashon Kodash. Repeat the Hebrew. Shayar, Hama'alwath, Ladawad, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Nayam, Shabath, Alkyam, Gum, Yakad, Kashaman, Hatawab, Al, Harash, Yorad, Al, Hazakwan, Zakwan, Aharan, Shayarad, Al, Paya, Mariawathiwa, Katal, Kawamwan, Shayarad, Al, Haraya, Tazyawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahweh, Af, Harakah, Kayam, Aid, Hayawam, Bahashem, Amasyak, Yahushai, Thawada, Thamyad, Aman.
Psalms 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head, that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Ba'ashem, Hamashak Yahushai, Tawaratam Yad, Aman.
Aman. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Let's clap it up. Let me get some visual. So I want to say shalom to the nation of Israel. All praise to the Most High God. You know what we got next. All praise to the Most High. Next tomorrow, we'll have the Shabbat service and it'll be led by Chief Minister Solomon. Tomorrow will also be our town hall meeting. So all brothers and sisters that's going to be here tomorrow, make sure to be prepared with your notes, the things you want to bring out. And also, beyond that, our location is 2937 West Bar Boulevard. We have this history class